Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is the new king at the box office. Superman's suit has been revealed for James Gunn's Superman movie, and there's a new Lord of the Rings live-action film in development with Andy Serkis and Peter Jackson. Let's get into this week's movie news. Anthony's all the way in England, joining us from Cambridge. How are you, pal?
What's up, movie friends? Welcome back to Raiders of the Lost podcast, the ultimate film and TV podcast. I am 8 hours ahead across the globe, but I'm still here to see you, James, and to spread the news of the film world.
You have to do the news.
The news.
So, box office, we have a new king. We have Planet of the Apes, the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the 17th movie in the franchise. The new Reboot trilogy, the first and bold entry into the new trilogy, is in first place. It has toppled The Fall Guy. Apes grossed $52 million at the domestic box office, which is a pretty big hit. I believe it's not the top in the franchise, of course. Those last ones were really excellent and huge box office hits, but The Fall Guy has dropped about 50% of their box office down to $14 million domestic.
And it looks like science fiction, the Apes franchise, that's definitely going to perform better overseas. So I'm not sure The Fall Guy can recuperate its budget. It was $130 million and it needs about $350. And it looks like Apes is really going to eat into all of its audience. They're pretty similar audiences, plus sci-fi always performs better overseas, especially with a well-known IP. Plus fan reactions from the film have been very strong, so I expect it to really do well overseas. The Fall Guy with $14 million, pretty good second weekend, but it definitely needs more to recuperate its costs. Challengers in third place, still holding on really well with the independent market with $4.5 million in its third weekend, and it's closing in on $50 million domestically.
And before we continue, I just want to let you all know that we are over $9,000 raised on our short film, One Click, which is on Indiegogo right now, crowdfunding. Thank you so much to everyone who's donated. The link is in the description, or just search One Click on Indiegogo with a K. I'm here with producer Sarah Biko. Hey, Sarah, say hi to everyone.
Hello.
We are so grateful for the response. Sarah's been killing it. We are super excited about this movie. We are getting all the pieces together. We are going to blow up a car. It's official. And again, the budget is at 30% of what we need in just 1 week. So thank you so much to everyone who's been backing us.
We're still $20,000 away from our goal, though. So any amount that you can give is definitely going to help us out.
Grab those perks before they run out. You can visit us on set. You can get a copy of the script. You can get a hat, all kinds of cool things, or donate any custom amount. Go to the description of this episode and click the link to go to One Click's Indiegogo profile to donate today. Thank you again to everyone who has supported us so far. Heck yeah. So, after the box office, we have some release dates for some TV shows coming in June. Listen to this list of TV shows coming out in June. So, we have Season 3 of The Bear premiering on June 27th. Everyone's excited for that, obviously. We have Season 4 of The Boys coming out on June 13th. We have Star Wars The Acolyte coming out on June 4th. And House of the Dragon Season 2 premieres on June 16th. June, TV is back in action. Holy crap, because I think there's 3 shows on this list that I'm 100% going to watch. I'm skeptical about Star Wars The Acolyte. I'll see a trailer and I'll see how reactions are before I watch it. I don't usually watch the Disney Plus shows, but those are the 3 shows that I watch every year. So that's like it.
They're all going to be happening at the same time.
It's pretty epic. It's pretty epic.
We're going to be busy in June. It's going to be a TV month.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. It's like the good old days of like, oh, this is on tonight. This is on tomorrow night. Oh, we're going to go home and watch House of the Dragon. It's pretty great.
I'm most excited for House of the Dragon. I can't wait to see what they do with the expanding that world in the second season there. It's going to be fantastic.
Cannot wait. Let's move on to probably the biggest news of the week. We have the reveal of David Corenswet's Superman and Superman's suit in an image shared by James Gunn of him putting on his boots, getting ready for battle, while mayhem takes place behind him and looks like planetary explosions or something. And this shot looks great. It's really cool to see the suit. I like how it's damaged. However, it got torn apart online because everyone's like, Superman's just casually putting his boots on while people are getting killed in the background in Metropolis. It's really funny.
It's just an on-screen photo. It's just it's not an actual part of the scene. I doubt that.
It's just a still. It's just a fun behind-the-scenes still, probably.
It looks great, and it looks like they're using huge LED light sets for the background, because I guarantee that's going to be a shot with some kind of laser attack on the city in the background that will be animated And it looks like they're taking a note in the Batman's book of using a lot of those for this film. So that'll be a different look and feel. I think he looks great in the suit. I like the color palette. I like the blue and the red color they chose. And I like the thickness of the suit. It's cool. And the boots are fantastic. Overall, I think it's a perfect suit for this so far.
Yeah, it's cool. It's hip. It's new. It's similar to Henry's past suit, but another criticism is everyone's just saying you should have just cast Henry Cavill 2.0. I feel bad for Corn Sweat. I think everyone needs to just move on. I love Henry Cavill. He's perfect as Superman, but it's over. We just got to move on. Someone else is taking up the mantle. Let's just have some fun, see what Corn Sweat has, let's see what James Gunn does, and get excited about a new Superman in the works.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to moving forward with this one. All right, we have some big news. Lord of the Rings news. Warner Brothers has announced that a new film in the Lord of the Rings franchise will release in 2026. Peter Jackson and his co-writers on the original trilogy are heavily involved in the production of this film, and Andy Serkis will be directing the movie, which is going to be centered upon Gollum, and the film will be called The Hunt for Gollum.
I wonder if this will take place before he ever met Frodo, and maybe before he met Bilbo, possibly. The hunt for him, because like maybe the orcs and Sauron know that he has the ring, and they're just trying to find Gollum. So maybe before he even meets Bilbo.
I would say it's probably before Bilbo as well. Somehow they learn news of this creature has it. He's had it for a long time, and so maybe he goes on the run. And it's definitely, since Andy Serkis will be directing, I'm sure they're going to cast someone else to play Gollum, which will be interesting to see a different actor take on that role.
No, I keep seeing reports that he's going to return as Gollum as well.
Oh, really? Okay. He's still got it.
So he'll direct and mocap act. Of course he's still got it. Come on, he's the man. He was just in the Batman.
If you hire a different actor, he should still voice Gollum.
I don't think there's any way he would let anyone else play Gollum. There's no way. I'm curious the time period, because it could also take place between Bilbo and Frodo. Maybe when they capture Gollum, when they get the information that Baggins is a name that has the ring. Baggins! Shire! So I'm very curious. I'm so happy to see Peter Jackson involved and Andy Serkis involved in a live-action film of Lord of the Rings. You know, we have to accept that just movies are going to keep getting made in our favorite IPs. But as long as great creatives who are, from the origins of the originals are attached, I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, they're going to make several of these movies over the next few years, and Peter Jackson is involved in all of them. So Warner Brothers did the right thing of having him involved, because he's the guy.
Let's talk about another sequel, reboot, kind of same world movie story. Let's talk about the Office reboot in America. So the new Office series will follow, we have a synopsis, the Dunder Mifflin documentary crew as they focus on a dying historic Midwestern newspaper and its volunteer reporters. This is set in the same universe as the original series, and Donald Gleason was cast a couple of weeks as one of the lead roles, which is really interesting. I think he does great comedy. He's been in some funny roles here and there. I think he has great chops in dramatic films when it comes to satire too. We see that, I think, in Ex Machina and some of the Black Mirror episode he did. Like, there's great beats of comedy in those moments in those movies and shows. Yeah, so I think it's a really interesting choice. And now we're getting a little more information about this. I'm a little more intrigued, even though I'm a hardcore Office fan and I didn't love the reboot news. I think that if they take this in the right direction, they have obviously the original producers, so maybe it'll be good. Who knows?
I think if you're going to do it, don't just do it at a random company, anything, to make it set in an industry that's also dying, like the paper industry was. So Dunder Mifflin, like just being in the last legs of the paper industry, doing a newspaper in a Midwestern town, it seems to fit the same vibe of like a dying company that is barely keeping afloat.
Yeah, it seems like it could be funny because it's probably like a small Midwestern town, so it's sort of like Parks and Rec. What kinds of things could possibly happen in a small town? So it'd be maybe silly news reports, stuff like that.
All right, next up, we have this crazy bundle for streamers. Disney and Warner Brothers are teaming up. They're joining forces, so they're going to offer a bundle that includes Disney Plus, Hulu, and Max. This will be available this summer. So the streamers, I think, maybe streaming's not going as well for anyone, so teaming up is the only way forward for them.
They are, I think they're in a hole. I think they all dug themselves in a hole. They went so hard in streaming that they're trying to figure out how to make it profitable. And I think it shows that they're bleeding. I think it shows the studios are bleeding. They've maybe made some poor decisions in the last 5 years when it came to box office, to streaming and releases, and overspending on TV shows that not many people are watching and not getting an ROI or return on investment really on them. And when you put like $200 million into 10 shows or 10 movies that's just streaming release, I mean, I think they kind of just are in deep holes right now and trying to figure out how to get people, even if we're getting no longer $17 a month, let's get $5 a month and split sales.
And in 2 months, they're going to join forces with the other streamers, the sports companies and the news companies, and it's going to be called cable.
Cable's coming back, and it's going to be more expensive than ever. It's gonna. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. All right, we got 2 new trailers and 2 new posters for very anticipated upcoming movies. First of all, A Quiet Place Day 1. We got a new full trailer. This movie looks excellent. We got awesome new poster, and also Twisters. We got a new trailer and new poster. And I'm not gonna lie, Twisters looks like it could be a top 5 favorite movie of mine of the year. It looks exactly what I want to see, an action movie. We got some cowboys, we got some rodeo. Glenn Powell looks like the fucking man in this movie. I can't wait for Twisters.
And they're playing country music in that trailer. They know who their audience is.
Well, it's cool. Make it a Western cowboy vibe. You know, I think that's really smart. Because Twister, the original.
So a Quiet Place Day 1, the new trailer is incredible. But I gotta say, that poster's awful.
Yeah, it's kind of odd because it's a skyscraper behind them, and then they're like sort of, the angle is sort of weird.
It's a terrible poster. It
And
looks
then it
like
shows one of the what are they called? Dark angels falling down on top of them.
So it's a bunch in the background in the sky, but I don't like the new poster. I think it's awful.
It's interesting. The trailer
The
looks
new
incredible.
Twisters trailer looks like so much fun, and we're getting a new kind of twister. We're getting a fire twister because there's a twister, a tornado that ravages through some kind of oil ring and lights up on fire. So then they got a fire tornado. Looks fun.
I love that idea. I wonder if pitching studios are like, all right, ready? It's a tornado, right? But it's on fire. Oh my God! What a great idea! And right. Instead of one tornado, we have 2 tornadoes. Oh my God! And then they show the title Twister on the PowerPoint. And then they dissolve an S at the end. Not just Twister, it's Twisters. $100 million. Here you go. Let's make it.
Genius. Get this
Smart.
man a shield.
All right, let's move on to some Game of Thrones news. So, the first season of the next Game of Thrones spinoff, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, will be 6 episodes long, and the first 3 episodes will be directed by Owen Harris from Black Mirror's TV series.
Do we know who this knight is? Have we seen them before?
No idea. It's not the Jon Snow version or spinoff, right? I think it's something completely different.
All right, so Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I wonder where it takes place, when it takes place, and what houses will be involved in this. Because obviously, with House of the Dragon, we have much fewer houses involved than in Game of Thrones. So I'm really curious about going forward. A knight, you would say they probably are from King's Landing if they are a knight.
So they're prequel novellas, and they take place a century before Game of Thrones.
Okay, cool.
It's about 2 unlikely heroes of Westeros.
Fuck yeah, let's go, man.
Yeah, I don't know too much about it. I'm kind of curious to learn a little more information. But yeah, so it's a prequel 100 years before Game of Thrones in those events.
Sign me up.
Let's go. So it's funny because House of Dragons a prequel, right? Like several hundred years before Game of Thrones.
Yeah, almost 1,000 years.
So this is like right near in the middle. Okay, moving on.
Next up, Sydney Sweeney will be playing a boxer in an upcoming film directed by David Michaud as boxer Christy Martin, saying she grappled and did kickboxing from 12 to 19 years old, and she's been itching to get back into the ring and transform her body into an athletic form. I'm always down for a great martial arts film.
Let's go. Yeah, I love boxing movies, and Sydney Sweeney's can do pretty much anything she wants right now. That's an interesting choice. I think that's a really cool choice for her to do something action heavy, fight heavy, just to kind of show her audience something that they've never seen before. I like that. Cool career decision. Let's move on to Netflix and their obsession with reality TV and competition series. They're developing a Willy Wonka factory competition series right now, and it's going to be probably intense, and I wonder if there'll be Oompa Loompas, and a river of chocolate sounds cool, but they have so much money to light on fire. I feel like they can make something cool out of this. I probably won't watch it because I don't like reality TV. I try not to watch it, but they're just capitalizing on the Squid Game stuff clearly in reality shows.
Hopefully, it goes off better than the Glasgow, Scotland, Willy Wonka experience.
That's what they should just do that. Do that experience and then film that, and that might get more views than anything they would put $100 million into.
Honestly, everyone in the
It'd be
world
kinda
is
funny.
talking about that. News for
Massive.
Fantastic Four. Ralph Ineson has been cast as Galactus. Now, you've seen this guy, tremendous actor in a bunch of films. He played the father in The Witch. He most recently was in the first Omen as the priest, and he was also in The Green Knight as the previous king in that film. He's
the Green Knight. No, he's the Green Knight.
Actor with one of the most remarkable voices I've ever heard. So I think he's perfect casting as Galactus.
He plays the Green Knight in the Green Knight.
Oh yes, that's true. Yes.
Yeah. The previous yeah, Sean Harris is the previous king. So he's been in a bunch of stuff. He's got Death Eater roles in Deathly Hallows movies. So you've seen his face a lot if you haven't seen those 3 movies. So Galactus is a main enemy of the Fantastic Four. Formerly a mortal man, he's a cosmic entity who consumes planets to sustain his life force, and it was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and appeared first in March 1966. John Malkovich has also been cast in an unknown role in Fantastic Four. So, I mean, based off just the castings alone for the Fantastic Four, I think this movie is going to be pretty damn good. I got my optimism keeps going higher and higher every time I hear news about the Fantastic Four.
I think he's an excellent choice for a villain character, 100%. I think that's
and
amazing.
He'll probably. I wonder if he'll step up and kind of replace Kang as a main overarching villain in the MCU going forward.
I mean, I'd be down for that. Fuck yeah.
We got some posters, character posters of Yorgos Lanthimos' next film, Kinds of Kindness. And of course, he's really doing interesting, surreal things, playing with perspective and body sizing on his posters, just like he did with Poor Things, where every character has a poster, but they've cut out their face and maximized them and made them a little larger, scaled them up, and placed them back on the head of the character. So it sort of looks like NBA jams with the big heads, but just a big face on top of character posters. So remember that NFL Blitz 2 with the big heads? So it's a really cool, surreal look at movie posters. I like it.
Fuck yeah. All right, next up, we have news about In a Violent Nature. This is the horror slasher film shot from the perspective of the killer. This will be released in theaters on May 31st, but what's interesting is it's going to be unrated. So it's going to be like an unedited version of the film. The gore and kills apparently are very graphic and gnarly, and it's going to be an uncut, unedited version of the film. I think they'll also do a rated R version, but I definitely want to see the unrated version.
I think that's really smart because calling it unrated is really clever versus like NC-17 or X, because also it entices people to get excited about it, and it's probably super low budget and they need to make a splash somehow, and the idea is just really interesting, the perspective of the horror and of the killer the whole time. So I think that's a smart move.
Didn't horror movies back in the day when we were kids, they would release an unrated version on DVD? Remember?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they always used to do that.
In the long ago. Back in our day, they released horror movies unrated. Just boobs and blood everywhere on the 10th day. All right, let's move into some A24 news. First of all, Civil War has become the second A24 film to earn over $100 million at the global box office. Obviously, Everything Everywhere All at Once did it first, and that seems to be a movie they'll not be able to top because that movie was so profitable at $150 million. And also, A24 has reportedly just stopped developments on their Friday the 13th prequel series called Crystal Lake, and the director sort of got blindsided by it. They just literally just pulled the plug on it and just stopped the production and stopped pre-development of it.
They probably heard us making fun of it a couple weeks ago.
No, I feel like it could have been cool.
All right, next up, there's Batman news. Amazon Prime is releasing, this is very cool, an animated 1940s period piece of Batman Caped Crusader. This is going to be available on Prime on August 1st. So this sounds really interesting for Batman fans.
More 28 years later news. Jack O'Connell has been cast in 28 years later alongside Aaron Taylor Johnson, Jodie Comer, and Rafe Fiennes. This cast is getting stacked and absurd, and Killian leading it out. Holy crap, this is epic.
Yeah, Jack O'Connell is a fantastic actor, so that's an excellent choice. Next up, we have Rocky news. So there's going to be a movie a biopic about Sylvester Stallone and his journey making the first Rocky film. Peter Farley is set to direct, with casting now underway. This is an incredible, not just an underdog film, but an underdog story of how Sly ended up getting this film made, making it a requirement that he would have to act in the. He would have to, if he wanted to sell the script, the studio would have to agree to him acting as Rocky in the lead role. And most of the studios didn't want him, which is so hard for him. Why it was so hard for him to get the film made, and eventually was. He ended up having to sell his dog. He was homeless, so he had no money. So it's an amazing story. And I mean, if you're gonna do a biopic about making a film, this sounds like a really prime one for it.
I can't wait. This sounds freaking awesome. This is a really good idea for a biopic. I'm stoked about this because the story itself is incredible as the movie, if not more. Let's get into some Glenn Powell news. He's just been cast in Monsanto alongside Anthony Mackie and Laura Dern. This is a legal drama. It follows an untried attorney who takes on a seemingly insurmountable case against the U.S. chemical company Monsanto on behalf of Dwayne Johnson. I love me a good legal drama or investigation against a corporate company doing terrible things. So sign me up. This is cool. As well as Glenn Powell's in talks to star in J.J. Abrams' next film. The guy is just killing it.
On fire right now. All right, there's news about a third 47 Meters Down movie in the works. This would follow a father who's looking to rebuild a bond with his daughter while scuba diving and exploring a famous shipwreck until they get trapped underwater.
Are you for scuba?
Scuba?
Scuba? Let's go. I love shark movies. I can't wait. Nebraska news, which is the Bruce Springsteen film. Obviously, Jeremy Allen White is set to star as Bruce himself. Jeremy Strong is now in talks to star as Bruce Springsteen's manager, John Landau, in Nebraska. He's getting a lot of work post-Succession. A lot of biopic stuff because he's doing the Donald Trump movie with Sebastian, too.
We got a trailer for an interesting film. It's called Thelma.
That's a word to say.
Grandma revenge thriller. This woman who's scammed on the phone and then sets out for revenge against the scammers. So it's the Beekeeper, but without Jason Statham.
Exactly. It looks very silly. I want to wait for reviews to come out. She's like on a scooter, like doing a wheelie. It's ridiculous looking.
Why not, man? Why not?
So we have some news about Brad Pitt's Formula One film, which is facing even more hurdles. This movie now has a budget over $300 million, making one of the most expensive movies ever. Production delays due to the SAG-AFTRA strike and real actors and race crews have caused costs to soar, and the film faces challenges due to its high budget with no release date or distributor confirmed yet. So this movie is just getting inflated and ballooning out of control. However, Brad Pitt's not a stranger to this kind of stuff. World War Z was a movie that got reshot half of it. They redid the second half of the movie, and that went like at least $50 million over budget and over scheduling. So I think Brad Pitt's name carries a lot of weight, and audiences will be excited to see this film, and I think they'll pull it off, and I'm sure it'll be a hit, and I'm sure it'll be good. Joseph Kosinski is the director of this film as well, who's just terrific. So I think they'll pull it off, but the SAG strike really messed up their production because they were filming at real events and real racing tracks. So that's probably delayed them so much because it's not easy to get that stuff going.
Yeah, I think that this film has the potential to make close to $1 billion, 700 million, 800 million. Kosinski is named director of Top Gun Maverick. I mean, it's becoming a brand. So I think they can sell this film. I know that there's no distributor yet, but there will definitely be one soon. Yeah,
it's Brad Pitt and the director of Top Gun Maverick and Tron Legacy. They're gonna sell the shit out of this movie. Someone's gonna pick it up, but it's one of the most expensive movies ever made right now, which is crazy. Which means they're probably doing a lot of it in camera practical effects, which is awesome. I can't wait to see the trailer. I'm very excited.
Speaking of trailers, my favorite trailer of the week is Firebrand. This is a period piece starring Jude Law and Alicia Vikander, who stars as Queen Catherine, who believed she could bend the will of Mad King Henry VIII. It looks like a really great costume drama.
All right, everybody, that wraps movie news this week. That's everything we got for you. Hopefully, Anthony gets some shut-eye later because how's the jet lag been treating you?
It's killing me.
Yeah, it's killing you? You look a little sleepy. I can see it in your eyes.
I woke up at 1 a.m. wide awake for 4 hours.
What time was it when you landed there?
I landed at 10 a.m. here.
Oh, that sucks.
So I did a
you
red
just-
eye.
Yeah, you gotta stay awake for like 40 hours. That's the way to do it. You'll get used to it. But enjoy your week in Cambridge. We've already filmed all the episodes for the next 2 weeks, so Anthony is technically in studio on the show, even though he's out of studio right now. Movie News and Letterboxd, he'll be phoning in and zooming in, so we'll get those going. But thank you everybody for tuning into this episode of Movie News on Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Be sure to become a patron today at patreon.com/Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews, and see you next. I stole his line.
See you
Take
next
care.
time.
See you later. Bye. This episode was executive produced by our chosen one patrons, Cody Moen, Andrew Hagan, Becca Keene, Benjamin Cook, Calvin Murphy Griggs, Nicholas Martin, Darian Singleton, Tyler McFly, Andrew Hagan. Our chosen one patrons are our biggest supporters. Thank you so much. Raiders of the Lost Podcast is a mirror image production. Sound mixing done by Jacob Kossler. Opening music by Chase Jackson.